She opened the hotel door in a towel, and I knew before she spoke, she wasn't alone. I never thought I'd be the kind of man who gets blindsided. But that Friday night in Seattle changed everything. My name is Daniel Hayes. I'm 48, husband of 19 years, father of 2, and until last weekend, I thought I had a solid, if imperfect, life. Laura, my wife, is 45. She works in HR for a tech firm that sends her to conferences across the country. This time it was Seattle. A full week. Not unusual, but longer than her typical trips. We live in Tucson, Arizona, so the gray skies of the Northwest made her trip sound romantic to her. I run a small home remodeling business. Quiet, steady work. Our kids, Julian, 17, and Emily, 9, are used to their mom's travel. We all were. Still, after 4 days of missed calls and short, distracted texts, I got the idea to surprise her. It hit me over morning coffee while Emily was talking about clouds for her science project. Wouldn't it be cool to show mommy real Seattle clouds, she said. And just like that, I booked flights. I thought I was doing something sweet. Something she'd remember forever. Julian grunted approval when I told him. From a teenager, that was basically a standing ovation. I managed to take Friday off, pulled the kids from school with a fabricated family emergency, and booked us into a hotel a few blocks from Laura's. I texted her that morning. No reply. I chalked it up to conference chaos. Still, as we boarded the plane, that unease started. The moment we landed at SeaTac, I called again. Straight to voicemail. I sent another text, can't wait to hear your voice. We got a rental car and made our way into downtown Seattle. Rain streaked across the windshield. Emily stared out in awe at the water and tall buildings. Julian had his headphones on, silently watching me. At the Fairmont, the receptionist found Laura's reservation. Room 1109. She paused before adding, it appears Mrs. Hayes checked in with a guest. Would you like us to call up? My heart dropped. I told her no. The kids waited in the lobby. I took the elevator alone. I could feel the weight of the keycard in my pocket. Room 1109. Hallway carpet under my feet felt endless. I heard music from behind the door. Jazz. Something Laura never listened to. I knocked. Movement. Shuffling. Then silence. A moment later, the door cracked open. Laura stood there. Wet hair, towel wrapped tight. Her eyes widened. Shock. Dan. What the hell? I looked past her. A man's leather jacket hung on the chair inside. Can we talk? I asked. My voice sounded foreign to me. She stepped into the hall, pulling the door mostly shut behind her. Her expression flickered from surprise to frustration. You should have called, she whispered. I did, I said. Multiple times. She sighed. I'm in the middle of something. Are you going to tell me who he is? She looked down. It's complicated. I nodded, stepped back. The kids are downstairs. They're excited to see you. Her face crumbled. Jesus. They're here. We thought we'd surprise you. We stood there in silence. She was still holding the towel with one hand, trying to keep her hair from dripping. Give me 10 minutes, she said. I'll come to your room. I left without a word. Took the elevator back to the lobby where Julian was half watching Emily explain a chandelier. Did you find her? Emily asked. Yeah, I said. She's getting dressed. She'll meet us soon. Back in our room, I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the rain sliding down the window. 10 minutes turned into 30. Then there was a knock. She came in fully dressed, makeup refreshed, hair brushed. Like nothing happened. She hugged Emily, kissed Julian's head. Forced a smile. "Wow, what a surprise," she said. Julian didn't say a word. Emily buzzed with excitement. I sat silently, watching my wife pretend. Dinner that night should have been warm. Instead, it felt like we were strangers at the same table. Laura chose a seafood place by the harbor. Candlelight flickered off her wine glass. She ordered the salmon, told the waiter she was gluten-free now. That was new. Julian poked at his fries. Emily colored a menu with borrowed crayons. I just watched Laura. "How's work?" I asked. "Trying." "Busy," she said. "The merger's taking everything right now. I've barely had time to sleep." "You didn't answer any calls." She sipped her wine. "Spotty Wi-Fi. And I was always in meetings. You know how these things go." I nodded. "Do they usually involve room service for two?" Julian looked up sharply. Laura froze. "Not here," she whispered. I said nothing more. Back at the hotel, she said she had to meet colleagues for a late debrief. Kissed Emily goodnight. Brushed past Julian with a murmured, "See you tomorrow." The door closed. Julian stared at it. "She's lying," he said. I couldn't deny it. "Yeah. She is." Part 4. I didn't sleep. Emily was curled beside me, one arm flung across my chest, breathing deep and slow. Julian had taken the other bed. His earbuds were in, but I knew he wasn't listening to music. At 12:43 a.m. I heard the click of the door. Laura. Quiet as a whisper. I didn't move, didn't say a word. I just listened as she crept across the room and into the bathroom. The shower started. Julian turned his head slightly. Our eyes met in the dark. He didn't ask. He didn't have to. Morning came heavy. The rain was louder than usual, wind sweeping it across the windows like nails on glass. Laura moved around the room like nothing was wrong. She talked to Emily in a sing-song voice. Showed her photos from the aquarium, ones she said she took alone. But Julian saw them too. The same coat from the hotel room. Reflected in the aquarium glass. A blurred figure behind her shoulder. You should come with us today, Emily said, beaming. Laura smiled. I wish I could, sweetheart. But I have another workshop. You sure work a lot on weekends, Julian said. She didn't answer. We walked the city without her. Pike Place, the big wheel, coffee in paper cups. Julian didn't say much. Emily asked every 30 minutes if we could stop by Laura's hotel. I told her maybe. Maybe. It wasn't until late afternoon that I asked Julian if he wanted to go with me. Alone. He nodded. We left Emily watching cartoons. I told the front desk I was dropping off something for my wife. They let me up. Room 1109. Again. I knocked. No answer. Knocked again. Nothing. Wait, Julian said. He pointed to the doorknob. Hanging there, a paper tag. Do not disturb. Underneath it, in thick black pen, was a man's name. It wasn't mine. The man's name was scrawled in thick ink across the back of a hotel tag like it belonged there. Landon. No last name. No company initials. Just Landon. I stared at it, the loop of the L hanging like a hook through my gut. Julian was quiet beside me. Too quiet. He didn't ask who Landon was. He already knew what it meant. I reached out and slowly removed the tag from the knob, folded it, and put it in my jacket pocket like evidence. Julian finally spoke. Are you going to knock again? No, I said. My voice came out lower than I expected. We've seen enough. We rode the elevator in silence. I could feel the weight of the folded paper burning through the fabric of my coat. Back in our room, Emily looked up from her cartoon. "Did you see Mommy?" "She wasn't there," I lied. "She must have stepped out." Julian walked straight into the bathroom and locked the door. Laura texted me an hour later. Said she had to reschedule dinner. Some last-minute thing with a client from Vancouver. Again. That night, I sat by the window and watched the lights of the city flicker on, one by one, as the sky deepened to navy. Every part of me wanted to explode. But I didn't. I stayed still. Stillness was all I had. Laura came in just after 10 p.m., same perfume. Same coat. Not a hair out of place. "Long day," she sighed, setting her bag down. She looked at me, but only briefly. Then turned to Emily and began asking about her drawing, her day, her favorite part of the aquarium visit. I waited. "Where'd you go after the workshop?" I asked casually. She blinked. "Just drinks with a few of the team." "Why?" I shrugged. "Curious. Seattle has a way of changing your plans." She smiled, but it faltered. "You're in a mood." "Am I?" I said, and that was all. Later that night, I stood in the hallway outside the room again, alone, staring down at the folded tag in my hand. Landon. I typed the name into her phone's Bluetooth connection history. There it was. Landon's AirPods. Connected 2 days ago. Right after she landed. I didn't need to know more. I already knew too much. I slipped the tag back into my coat. Went back into the room. Crawled into bed next to the woman I'd loved for 2 decades, and stared at the ceiling like it was about to crack wide open. Tomorrow, I would ask her the question out loud. But tonight, I just wanted to hear her lie to me one more time. She woke before the kids and started packing like it was any other morning. Folding socks. Zipping compartments. Untangling phone chargers. "We still have the harbor walk today," Emily said, brushing cereal crumbs off her dress. Laura smiled. "We do, sweetheart. But we'll need to check out first." Julian didn't speak. He just stood by the window, staring down at the morning traffic. I leaned against the kitchenette counter, watching her. Every movement was rehearsed, polished, as if she were performing for someone. Maybe she was. "What time is your flight?" I asked. She hesitated, just slightly. 4:30. "Why?" "Just wondering if we'd see you off. I figured you'd head to the airport first. Beat the traffic." Julian turned then. "We could all ride together. You know, like a family." She blinked, then smiled again. Too tightly. "Maybe." We drove in silence through the city. The water glittered to our left. Emily hummed to herself in the back seat. Julian sat stiff beside her. Laura had checked out early, claiming a client brunch at another hotel. I didn't say a word. I just looked at her, long enough for the truth to rise like steam between us. She adjusted her sunglasses. Looked out the window. That was all the answer I needed. At a red light, she leaned over and kissed Emily's forehead. "You're my sunshine, you know that." Emily giggled. I watched Laura's hand linger on our daughter's hair, then pull away like it burned. "Are you staying longer than us?" Julian asked. Laura adjusted her sunglasses. "Just one more night. Firm needs me for the contract debrief." "Are they putting you up at the same hotel?" "No. Different one." She gave the name. "Some boutique spot downtown." I nodded. Same hotel her phone had pinged 2 nights ago when she claimed she was with a team from Vancouver. When we reached the airport, she got out first. Helped Emily with her little suitcase. Stood next to Julian, waiting for something. "We'll talk soon," she said, looking at me. We will, I replied. She smiled like it meant something. Then walked away. Emily waved until her mother disappeared behind the glass. Julian didn't move. She's not flying anywhere, he said quietly. I know, I said. And we both knew we'd seen her for the last time, not just on that trip, but maybe for good. The house felt colder when we got back to Tucson. Maybe it was just the silence, the kind that creeps in after the engine stops, after the luggage is set down, after the kids scatter to their rooms without a word. Julian didn't ask about her. Emily did. When's mommy coming home? Soon, I told her, brushing her hair out of her face. She's finishing up some work stuff. A lie. Another one. But softer than the truth. That night, I sat at the dining table staring at the empty chair across from me. Laura's chair. Her mug still on the windowsill. Lipstick faint on the rim. I should have thrown it out. I didn't. The next morning, I emailed her. Subject line, we need to talk. No response. Not that day. Not the next. By Wednesday, Julian had stopped pretending. He didn't come down for dinner. Left early for school. Didn't text me back when I checked in. I heard him on the phone that night, pacing the backyard. You don't get to disappear, he said to someone. You don't get to check out just because it's easier. He wasn't yelling. That almost made it worse. I didn't ask who he called. I didn't need to. Thursday morning, I saw her name pop up on my phone. A message. Short. Can we meet Saturday? Just us. I stared at the screen for a long time before I typed back. Fine. 10 a.m., Cafe Nora. I didn't tell the kids. When Saturday came, I got there first. Chose a booth by the window, ordered black coffee, no cream. Watched the door. Laura walked in 15 minutes late. She looked like herself, but not, dressed down, no makeup, hair in a loose braid like the early years. Like the woman I married before promotions and travel and silence. She sat down without a word. Looked at her hands. I want to tell you everything, she said. I nodded, once. No warmth. Just readiness. She swallowed. It started in May. That conference in Denver. He was on a panel. We had lunch, talked about restructuring, and then, it just, kept going. She wouldn't say his name. I didn't ask. How long did you plan to lie to me? She flinched. I didn't plan anything. I thought it would end before it got serious. I thought I could. What? Cheat and pretend you didn't? She looked up then. Eyes wet. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. She didn't argue. Silence hung between us like fog. Then she whispered, I think I stopped knowing who I was. Somewhere between the job and the marriage and the kids. I vanished. So you replaced yourself with someone who lies to her husband and hides from her kids? She wiped her cheek. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I want to fix what I can. Even if that's nothing more than honesty. I stared at her. Not with hatred. Not even grief. Just distance. Then tell the kids. They deserve to hear the truth from you. Not from me. She nodded. Okay. I will. I stood. Don't be late. They've waited long enough. Sunday came slow. Gray skies hung low over Tucson, mirroring the weight in my chest. The kids were in their rooms. I sat on the living room couch, staring at nothing, just listening, for footsteps, for a car pulling in, for some kind of sign that she was going to follow through. At 9:58 a.m., her car pulled into the driveway. Julian appeared in the hallway, arms crossed. Is she actually coming in this time? Looks like it, I said quietly. He didn't move. Laura stepped inside like she was entering a stranger's house. Same hesitation, same half-smile that didn't reach her eyes. She held a paper bag, pastries, probably. Some attempt at normalcy. "Hey, Em," she called gently. "Got your favorite cinnamon twists?" Emily came bounding down the hallway, still in pajamas, beaming. "Mommy." She wrapped her arms around Laura's waist. Laura held her tight, burying her face in our daughter's hair. Julian stood in the corner. Watching. She looked at him. "Hey, Jules." He didn't respond. Didn't blink. We sat at the table. 4 chairs. 4 people. 1 invisible fracture. Laura cleared her throat. "I need to talk to you both," she said, looking at the kids. Emily's smile faded. Julian didn't look up. "I haven't been honest," she said. "I made some big mistakes while I was away. And I hurt your dad. I hurt you, too, even if you didn't know it yet." Emily's brow furrowed. "What kind of mistakes?" Julian stood. "She cheated." "That kind." Laura flinched like he slapped her. Emily looked between us. "What does that mean?" "It means," I said slowly, "that Mom did something very unfair to our family. But she's here now because she wants to be honest about it." Laura nodded, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. "I lost my way," she whispered. "I thought I could be 2 people at once. But all I did was lie to everyone I love." Emily crawled into my lap, burying her face in my shirt. Julian just said, "Too late." Laura sat frozen. "I understand," she whispered. "I just wanted you both to hear it from me. Not through whispers or fights or silence." She stood slowly. "I'll go now." I walked her to the door. She turned back at the threshold. "I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted to start owning what I've done." I nodded. "You did." She stepped out into the soft morning drizzle. Julian came up beside me. "That's it? She just gets to leave?" I shook my head. "No. She left a long time ago. We're just now locking the door behind her. It's been 3 weeks. 3 quiet, strange weeks. The house feels more like ours now, me, Julian, and Emily. It's emptier, yes. But also less haunted. Like it finally remembered how to breathe." Laura hasn't come by since that Sunday morning. She calls sometimes, mostly to ask about Emily. She tried texting Julian, but he left her on read. I didn't push him. Some wounds need space to scar. The nights are the hardest. After dishes. After bedtime stories. After Julian retreats to his headphones and Emily curls beside me on the couch, whispering questions she's too young to carry. "Did Mommy leave because I was bad?" "No, baby," I always say. "She left because she made a mistake. A big one. But it had nothing to do with you." I say it gently. Again and again. Like a prayer for both of us. Last Friday, Julian came into the garage while I was fixing the water heater. He handed me a photo, one of those family ones Laura had framed by the stairs. "You want to keep this?" he asked. I looked at it. Smiling faces. Matching scarves. A day that felt real at the time. "You can toss it," I said. He didn't flinch. Just dropped it in the trash. It didn't feel like betrayal. It felt like truth. This morning, I found Emily in the backyard with a note. Folded into a paper airplane. "It's for Mommy," she said. "Can I throw it to the sky?" I nodded. Watched her run, hair flying, arms stretched high. She threw it. It dipped, caught wind, floated a bit, then landed in the grass. It didn't go far, she frowned. Maybe that's enough, I said. Maybe it was. I don't know what comes next. I'm not ready to date. I'm not ready to forgive. I'm not even sure I'm ready to forget. But tonight, for the first time in a long while, I stood in the kitchen after dinner and caught myself humming. A quiet sound. Nothing big. But it was mine. And it didn't feel lonely.